If you are building a team, then you want to build as many processes and practical procedures as possible. And processes can take the form of documents. These processes will be subject to change and evolution over time, but having a place where people can build from is massively important. And one of the ways when you're building new departments is to have the people that are building new departments build the documents in real time as things happen. And one of the ways that you could also do that as advice is delivered or given in calls, in messages, capture all of it and then get transcriptions of said ultimately messages and then turn that based upon AI or manual human involvement into documentations and guidelines. So that's one of the best things that you can do once you begin that journey. The next thing that you can do is based upon that, you can take said documentation and then you can put it into, for example, ChatGPT, and the value that you can drive with ChatGPT or any other AI tool is only as good as a prompt. So as for example, if you're in a management position dedicated to building processes and procedures, one of the things that you can teach your team is to give ChatGPT the correct prompts, because then ChatGPT can do the initial groundwork for you. So the ChatGPT prompt in this case, because we generate over 500 inquiries and growing inbound into our company. So we've never really built out a dedicated outbound department. Now, I'm in the process of building an outbound department. And as a consequence, as part of that, we're building our outbound Bible. Now, with that in mind, they are building the Bible out. And what I can do without even looking at the Bible is do this. This is what I'm about to share with you is a document that is called our Outbound Bible. So it's designed to guide anyone who's new to the company, who's getting involved in doing outbound sales, so outbound cold calling emails and potentially lead generation, with a focus primarily on cold calls to book appointments for ultimately Pearl Lemon. Based upon this document, what else do you think needs to be added to it? Put yourself in the place of someone who's just new to the company, who's joining first time and wants to understand how they can effectively cold call at Pearl Lemon based upon the range of products and different services that we have. So it's the Pearl Lemon Group, PEARL Lemon Group. Please feel free to have a look at us online and outline as many quick wins based upon fundamentally the document that I share with you. So you stop that there. So this is what you can teach any team to do as they build documentation, and what you'll notice immediately based upon what ChatGPT will give us. And let's just have a look. And remember, the key is to understand this process yourself first of all, and then as a consequence of that process being understood, to give it to your teams so that they can begin to improve any documentation that they provide overall to you. In advance of giving it to you, they go through and get their own fundamentally insights from ChatGPT as to how it could improve. So based upon this, we see that already there is fundamentally things that ultimately the document would benefit from in terms of being improved. So if you're able to follow these steps, and that's what's really important. So number one, when you're building out fundamentally new documentation for new departments within teams, the best people to build those documentation is the people that are, of course, doing the work, and they can build it in parallel with the work that they're doing. And the way to do that quickly and conveniently is through recording, i.e., all of the evolutions of the growth cycle. And what you'll often find is that where different people have different pockets of knowledge, which is typically what happens within organizations, if you can capture and grab all of those different pockets in some kind of audio format, and again, you'll typically get snippets, little bits and different pieces, you can then combine fundamentally all of that into an initial guide. And that initial guide can be built by ChatGPT. It can be built by yourself. It can be built in whatever format that you prefer. But once you've done your first attempt and first effort at building said guide, so this is building processes and procedures within the company, the next step you want to layer onto that is asking ChatGPT for its feedback and insights as to what could be improved. And then what you can do, again, advanced tip, you can do the very same thing in, for example, Gemini. So we'll go ahead into Gemini, and what we'll do is we'll copy this across the exact same prompt that we've got, and we'll have a look to see what Gemini says. Please, but we'll also add this prompt. Please make note that please exclude these points here we go, these points from your feedback and give me other points. So then what we do in there is we go ahead to ChatGPT, and you could do it in whichever order you prefer, ChatGPT first, Gemini after. We go into ChatGPT now, and we have a look at the we look at the answers the ChatGPT has provided, we copy them, we build them in here, and then what we do is once that is done, what you'll see now is Gemini should give you additional insights that fundamentally are different from the insights that ChatGPT has provided. So let's just take a quick look. Personalization and tailoring, building confidence and rapport, practical tips and resources, additional FAQ and objection handling, onboarding, ongoing support, technology and tools. If we have a look at the insights that ChatGPT has given us, some of it there seems to be some crossover, but let's just take a look quickly at, for example, building confidence and rapport, personalization and tailoring, client persona development. Do we see anything that relates to client persona development? We don't see anything that relates to client persona development. So all of a sudden now you've got a feedback loop that you've gathered from two different tools, and you can even go further and say, okay, I'm going to give you a third if you really want to take it to the end extent. So what you then do is go to here, and you can begin to play them with each other and then say, thank you for this feedback. Now, based upon some additional insights I'm going to share with you for other things that we could add, please give me something else that could be added to the content, ensuring that it is new and different from the feedback that you've provided, as well as the additional insights I'm going to give you right now. So we do that. And then we see fundamentally what else that it can give you. So client persona deep dive, unique elements can be included. So now, based upon all of this, what you can potentially do is build a final guide. And in that guide, as you can see, for the improvements that you need to make, what you do is you go here, improvements needed to the Outbound Bible. As you can see, you build that in, you then jump into Gemini. We'll also build that in. We'll go into go into Google Docs. We go then to the next element, which is here. And now we can please keep all of the detail and build additional insights into this series of information I'm going to share with you, but be sure to remove redundancies where something is covered twice but just in a different way, but equally share practical examples of every single thing that's outlined. Please note this is a feedback document for how to improve something that's already been written. So now we do that as an example. 9 minutes on the clock right now, as you can see, but then all of a sudden we now have, as you can see, this is, let's say as an example, version 1, improvements needed to the Outbound Bible. We'll go ahead and make a new document. And as you can see, it's building out a real good series of areas that need to be improved. And we now have a series of areas, not completely foolproof because they may have missed some things and there may be some areas that fundamentally have not been covered. But in any event, we now have a guide for how to improve to improve the Pearl Lemon Outbound Bible. And then what we do in here, we insert this. We insert our table of contents, and then all of a sudden, we've got a fantastic document that we built from scratch that you can give as a feedback document for how to improve a document that's already been built. And what's amazing about this, if you do use it, you can do this with any level of documentation that is built within the company based upon anyone's insights, anyone's thoughts. As you go about building processes and procedures, you take unstructured information that's gathered from multiple areas. You then restructure it into a document and or guideline, and then you ask the AI tools for weaknesses in or gaps or issues within that document. You then reprompt a different AI tool to say, please give me some additional insights based upon additional feedback, advance and ahead of the actual feedback you've got from AI tool number one. AI tool number two gives you that additional feedback, and then you can go back to AI number two, tool number one, or go to even AI tool number three, which could be, for example, Claude or other LLMs, and you can say, great, now finally give me some more feedback, making sure to exclude this feedback that's already been given. Once you've got that, you merge all of the feedback, and then you ask ultimately the AI on round number 4 or round number 3, depending upon how many feedback loops you've got, to restructure all of the feedback into a guide for how the original guide that you built could be significantly improved. And in this way, you can build bulletproof documents.